And we're live, beaming all across the globe right here from Loveity Hall. This is the Jim Masters Show, live entertainment lifestyle celebrity talk show series. How are you and you and you? Thanks for joining us here. We're here in the New York area in the United States of America. That's where the show comes from. I say that because people sometimes do ask, where does this show come from? Where do you broadcast from? Right here in the New York tri-state area. Nice to have you here. Bit of a snowstorm, so I look like I'm in a lodge right up in Vermont, maybe like a ski lodge. And wherever I go, we take our JMS Loveity Hall set with us. It does look like I'm in some sort of a lodge right now, nice and comfy. I put this on because we just had one of the biggest snowstorms we've had in about 2 years here in the Northeastern United States. We do need some of the snow because we don't want drought in the summer. And it actually looks beautiful. It's all over the evergreens, the trees, the plows, God bless them. They're out working hard. But yeah, we got blanketed with the snow, so it's cozy. We have our hot cocoa and all that fun stuff. And we have two extraordinary guests who are joining us here exclusively on the Jim Masters Show live. You've probably seen us promoting it on our YouTube channel and all of our social media at Jim Masters TV. One is a return guest and one is a brand new guest. Here they are. This is Stephen Cole and Anita Gillette joining us here on the program. They have come together. They've been friends for years. I mean, this isn't something that is just happening for our show, though they are the kind of people that would come together just for our show. This book here is extraordinary. It's a novel by Stephen Cole, Mary and Ethel, and Mikey too. We're going to talk about this in just a second. Now, you, of course, know that, or maybe you don't know, or I know that Ethel Merman and Stephen Cole, it's like a friendship that existed over a couple of years. And we've actually got a wonderful shot of Stephen Cole, our guest, with a one and only, she could belt him out, the incomparable Ethel Merman. Now, there's a whole backstory to all of this, and we're going to be talking about that. I had an opportunity to meet Stephen Cole, who is an award-winning, prolific, celebrated musical theater writer, author, librettist. I mean, he's just extraordinary. He lives and breathes musical theater. And he has penned this incredible book, which we're going to talk about, this new novel in just a second. But there was a couple of mutual friends that I had an opportunity to spend time with when we went to see Merman's Apprentice, books and lyrics by Stephen Cole, and of course, Anita Gillette, iconic, legendary, beloved Broadway, television, film, stage actress, singer, dancer. I mean, from Broadway to Quincy to The Love Boat. I'm television, so I have to mention all those. Search for Tomorrow, you name it. Anita Gillette has been in everything. She's extraordinary. We were actually just having some fun behind the scenes. We were toasting each other. They have a little wine and getting things set, the Wi-Fi, because with the storm, the internet's a little crazy. But I had a chance to see Merman's Apprentice in New York at Birdland, the famous Birdland, Billy and Jim and gang. And it was with two wonderful friends, Clea Blackhurst, of course, who was also a guest on our show way back. You may remember she was a guest on our show and she lost her signal upstairs in her apartment in the city. So she actually had to go downstairs into the laundry room with her basket of laundry to continue being a guest on our show. It was a hilarious episode, probably 3 years ago now. There is Clea Blackhurst, who was playing, of course, Ethel Merman. She also played Hazel, too. And she's a phenomenal performer. She's on the right. And then somebody very near and dear to all of us, Reva Solomon. And Reva Solomon was one of the sweetest people on the planet. I mean, she goes back to the days of Merv Griffin, working with Merv Griffin in television and so much more. She really was a special person. She passed away last year suddenly. And she's in the middle between me and Clea. And this was actually at Birdland, the evening of Merman's Apprentice. And Clea had come off stage. There's a little after party. We were enjoying at Birdland with everybody. And of course, Stephen was there and Anita and everybody. And it's just a very special night. And I just wanted to show you that because it was something very, very special. There is Stephen. There he is with the book. And this is a page turner. We're going to talk about this. First, let me tell you about, if you're not familiar with Stephen Cole, because we do know we have, viewers who watch from all around the world. As I mentioned, he's a prolific and award-winning musical theater writer and book and lyrics, sometimes just book, sometimes just lyrics, and author of 5 published books and growing. You browse through the galleries and enjoy the pictures from, Stephen's many produced musicals. His musicals have appeared all over the globe. He loves what he does. He's extraordinary at what he does, and he's been doing it for a long time. And his shows have been recorded, published, and produced from New York City to London to the Middle East to Australia, Edinburgh, Scotland. His off-Broadway musical, After the Fair, extraordinary multitude of awards, Best New Play or Musical, nominated for Outer Critics Circle Award, Best Musical, subsequently produced in London to great acclaim. The Night of the Hunter, another one, won prestigious awards, glowing awards, and lots of accolades. Saturday Night at Grossinger's, another one. And again, he is an extraordinary, gifted, talented individual. He's joining us here, and there he is with the book. I wanted to show you that one. Here's another cool one we have. We're going to have fun tonight with our guests. There's, of course, Ethel Merman. He's toasting her, as he is doing right now. And then, of course, joining us, and Stephen and I have been working on this episode for a while, and we said, gee, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could welcome the incomparable Anita Gillette. I've always admired Anita Gillette. I know you have as well. If you just look at television, if you just review Broadway, she's been in just about everything, and she's incredible. There she is. She's, still performing. Look at this wonderful photo. There I am there. Yes. Hello, Anita. This is absolutely incredible. And of course, all of these different shots, right? Miss Mitzi, and here she is with Hal Prince. We're going to talk about these. We just picked a few quick photos just to give you an idea of the breadth. There she is, of course, with Vincent Gardenia. It's amazing. David Spielberg. Lots of great stuff. She is truly an icon. But what's wonderful about her, too, is she's a sweetheart of a person. And here she is with Jack Klugman, of course. Jack Klugman, Quincy. You've seen her on television. You've seen her on stage. You've seen her in multitude of feature films. Pocahontas. Yeah. We're just scratching the surface. We have lots to share and lots to show you. But she is joining us here on the program as well. And we're so honored to have her here and just tell you a little bit about, of course, I don't even need to really tell you, but she's an American actress, singer, and dancer extraordinaire, performed numerous roles in Broadway, American television, and feature films. Her Broadway credits include performing in musical productions of Gypsy, Carnival, Guys and Dolls. They're playing our song. Of course, we've had Lucy Arnaz, who is a dear friend, on our show as a guest several times. She was in Mr. President, Cabaret. In 1978, she was nominated, Anita Gillette, for the Tony Award for Best Actress in a Play for her performance in Neil Simon's Chapter 2. That's right. And so much more. Again, she's somebody who, again, is part of the American psyche. She is somebody who is just beloved. And I want to tell you a little bit more, because that's just scratching the surface, gang. In television and film, we won't say everything. We'll just give you a couple of quick things. She made guest appearances on the Ed Sullivan Show, Ed Sullivan, and of course, or I should say the Ed Sullivan Shoe. It's a big shoe. She joined the cast of The Edge of Night. Remember that daytime drama in 1967? And she's been on all the Goodson Todman, the game shows, Match Game, and What's My Line, and the Pyramid series. And she also appeared with Robert Alder as a contestant on Fast Draw. And she was in the series Me and the Chimp with Ted Bessel, Bob and Carol, and Ted and Alice. And then, of course, Robert Urich, who we lost too early, and a young Jodie Foster. She appeared in Norman Lear's All That Glitters. Remember that back in 77? TV movies such as A Matter of Wife and death in 75. It happened at Lakewood Manor. She was in Moonstruck, another incredible performance. She was in The Baxters, Quincy, Search for Tomorrow, Almost Grown. She appeared with Robert Reed and Bert Convey on Super Password. Larger Than Life, She's the One. She was also the mom on 30 Rock. Just a short list of her extraordinary career. Shall We Dance? She's worked with Patty Duke. I mean, Hallmark Hall of Fame movies. I know many of you enjoy the Hallmark Hall of Fame movies. Gang, that's just a short list of this iconic person who's taking time out of her evening during a snowstorm, along with my good friend Stephen Cole, to join us here on the show. They're all excited to be here. We're honored and excited to have them here. Let's welcome them to the Jim Masters Show Live series, where we have levity, love and levity, and we're bringing back the Lost Art of Conversation. Here they are, gang.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. There is the dynamic duo.
Yes.
You poor thing, having to go through my whole career like that.
And that's just a short list. Are you kidding?
I
That's
know,
like 7 more pages.
We thought it was this is your life, Anita.
This is your life, and I am Ralph Edwards.
Yes. I'm surprising you.
And you both look great. You have lots of nice color.
Oh, good. Yeah.
We worked.
That's a little trade secret, folks.
We're not in the studio.
Right, you're in the comfort of the home. And hey, let's toast. You know, we survived this snowstorm. We're here together. Yeah, let's toast. If you have your glasses with you,
I think I'm out.
There we go. Cheers.
We're
Cheers.
out of wine here.
Oh, you're out of
My
wine.
husband is coming in to get.
He's going to bring us some more wine. Yes.
Oh, see, you have an assistant. You have a production assistant. You guys are lucky.
Yeah. He's a Londoner. You know.
Yes, thank you.
Exactly. I like. Is he actually going to pour the wine on camera? Let's see that.
That's fine. That's fine.
Do you want some red? No, I just like. Oh, you can. No, I want you, David. Oh.
Okay, so here we are.
David.
No, we
We haven't even begun.
She's like, she's holding the glass. She's like, I have to have. How about you, Stephen? You hand Anita. You hand your glass to Stephen, and then David could pour it, and then he'll give it to you. David doesn't. You know what it is? David doesn't want to extend his arm.
You have some white left. You're fine.
I have a little white left. But
David does. You know what it is? David didn't want to extend his arm into the screen to block your image.
He's very English.
So you do. Masters is English
so this
too.
is what I'll do.
That's exact. Whenever you need a refill, you just.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank
David.
you, David.
Thank you, David.
Are you left-handed, Stephen?
He has beautiful blue eyes too.
Stephen, are you left-handed?
No.
You will be tonight.
Righty. But I'll do whatever is necessary.
Tonight, you are left-handed.
We're just happy to be here with you.
It's an honor and a pleasure. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to start things off, and I'm telling you, we have a lot of comments coming in from our international audience at Jim Master Show Love Days.
Really?
Oh, yeah, they're commenting, they're welcoming you. We'll show some of those during the show as well.
Oh, boy.
Now, Stephen, as I mentioned, you and I met, of course, at Merman's Apprentice, which is a fabulous show at Birdland. And of course, Anita there that night, everybody. It was a wonderful evening. How did the two of you come together as friends and collaborators? Tell us about that.
I will tell you, because we were doing, it is all Merman's Apprentice. We were doing a reading, the very first reading of Merman's Apprentice, and our musical director, Dar, who was David, what's his last name?
Rodgers.
David Andrews Rodgers. He was good friends with me. He said, I've got the perfect person for you. He said, you're going to love her. And when he told me Anita Gillette, I just, oh my God, if we could have her in the show. And we did. And we did the reading. Clea was still Ethel, and she was, and the interesting thing about the Ethel's parents in the show it's my crazy conceit was, and so we had a song for them called Loud, and it was about how loud their little girl was. And so Anita was just perfect. And as soon as we did this reading, I said, I'm keeping her forever. And so when we got to do the Birdland concert and then the recording for J Records, you know, we just kept her forever. So, and I now, when I was doing the book, this little thing here, right here, and we knew we wanted to do an audio version of the book, I said, who else could do this but Anita?
Well, but I'd never done one before.
And
I had never done an audio book.
And you're spectacular doing it.
Thank
and it was a
you
lot
very
of
much.
work, I know.
Well, I didn't know what to do because of, you know, there's so many people in the book. I mean,
Real live people.
Yeah. I mean, I had to read out loud what they were saying. And sometimes it was just a doorman who was saying, welcome home, miss, you know. And it was like three words or something. And I thought, do I pretend I'm a doorman here? And I did. I was a doorman. I was.
She was Merman. She was Martin. She was Josh Logan. She was Irving Berlin. She was Leland Hayward. And one day she called me up and said, you have a line for Edward R. Murrow. How does he sound?
I couldn't do Edward.
And so I sent you a little audio. But the thing is that sometimes you see on a book cover, an audio book, it says read by, but that's not true here. It's performed by.
He changed it to perform
because she performs the book, and people who have listened to it and bought it on Amazon as the audio book have just, it was like somebody said, actually one of the quotes was, it was like sitting on my porch and listening into all the gossip about everything on Broadway. And that's because she tells the whole story, but she plays all the parts. It's unique. And we're hoping next year's Grammys will reward you for that.
We'll see.
You'll be up against Barbara
Streisand.
Oh boy.
Her version of the book is a whole nother level.
Oh my goodness.
And I've never been someone to listen to books. I like to actually sit and read. But to listen to her, when our producer and publisher Robert Arman let me hear the first few pages, I started to laugh and then I started to cry. It was so great. It was just so wonderful to hear it come to life.
Well, that was just me doing what I didn't know how to do. I just did whatever came into my head.
Because you're an actor.
That's it. That's all I know.
You are a talented professional, and when it's thrown at you, you know how to take those lemons, turn them into lemonade, and that's the thing.
I know it's real.
She knows what to do. Yeah. The weather has
a delight. So that
the weather has things freezing a little bit because of the snowstorm, but you guys are freezing just a little bit there. It's the snowstorm that we haven't had for 2 years.
How's that? Is it better now?
Better now. Yes, that is.
So what I was saying was, not only did Anita do the voices, but she knew half the people in the book.
That's true.
Because she really knew Ethel and Mary and Josh Logan, who directed her in 2 shows. And Irving.
And Mr. B, Irving Berlin, was a friend of mine, and I can truly say that.
Absolutely. Well, I wanted to let the audience know, as far as the book, Stephen, you have taken your real life friendships with Ethel Merman and Mary Martin to undisputed queens of Broadway, and you've basically tossed them into a blender, coming up with a fantasy about a nerdy superfan in the early 1980s who, while visiting his dying idol Ethel Merman, stumbles into a time portal in her closet and exits on the other side in Sophie Tucker star's dressing room at the Imperial Theatre in 1939. And then tell us about the rest. There's Mikey Marvin Minkus.
Yeah, I mean, Some people think it's a time travel novel, but a wonderful critic said it's really more of an Alice in Wonderland because it's not science fiction. He just kind of falls into this thing the way Alice did.
Yeah.
And
the rabbit hole.
And coming out in 1939, then he proceeds through the years every time Ethel and Mary had some encounters together. So the Ford 50th anniversary show in 1953, when Mary was taking over to tour with Annie Get Your Gun on the road while Ethel stayed on Broadway. And there's my favorite character in the book. I don't know about you, but Mary too.
Oh yes,
Mary too.
What a character!
She was really.
You made her so funny.
I made. Made her funny, and I knew. Ethel, I remember Ethel couldn't speak very well then because of the tumor. It was like a stroke. But she said, I call her Mary too, just so I don't make the mistake of thinking she's Mary Martin. and Mary, the real Mary too. I remember her rolling her eyes and leaving the room. So when I was writing the book, I thought she was a magical character. And she's funny and magical. She takes us from time to time. She's the only one who knows that Mikey Marvin Minkus is really from 1983 and not 1941.
Right. She's
and
the only one.
She really knows what's going on. She even takes him through the tunnel that connects the Broadhurst Theater with the Schoenfeld Theater. There's an underground tunnel. This is true. Yeah. And down under there is still living Tallulah Bankhead. So it's a funny book, but it's also very touching.
Yes. How long did it take you to write it?
Oh God, 40 years.
Has been. Well, look at the photo we have here.
Well, yeah.
When was this?
Yeah, I had hair then. Look at that.
I like your cute.
Yeah, that
you both look very, very happy in this photo.
Well, we were at. I'll tell you where we were that evening. That was it was at Bloomingdale's in White Plains, and it was a banquet.
In Bloomingdale's, yeah.
To honor Ethel Merman for a banquet. What are they going to do? The Tonys at Corvettes? And that evening, she held on to me for dear life. We were friends because there was some man came up to her at one point and said, "Oh, Ethel, I danced with you in 1933." And she turned to me and said, "I wouldn't dance with him. He's an old man."
That sounds just like her.
That was Ethel. And she said, "Get me out of here."
Get me out of here. When did you first, you are like an Ethel Merman aficionado. When did you first develop your interest and your enthusiasm and your passion for Ethel Merman, Stephen?
Well, I was a kid and I loved Broadway shows. I was very lucky. My mother took me to see Broadway shows, but I never really, I hadn't seen her. I was not that lucky, but I heard records. And I always had the record of Gypsy, but not the record of Gypsy with Ethel Merman. I had the record of Gypsy with, and one day I put on the radio. And there was Rose's Turn playing. And I heard the real Ethel Merman and my head blew off.
Of course.
Because I heard the real voice. And it just changed everything.
Real performance.
The real performance.
Right.
And so I just fell in love with that thing. And then I did see her in Hello, Dolly. I was very young and I was very lucky. I just became a fan. And then when I got to meet her and she started to become a friend and come to my apartment on 9th Avenue in Chelsea, I realized she was just a funny dame from Queens with a dirty mouth.
Oh my God,
and we just hit it off for 2 years. And I was so lucky. So a lot of those, knowing her, and then through her, I knew Mary Martin, who was the complete opposite. Mary was a sweet, lovely, kind of vague lady who would call me up from Palm Springs and tell me, listen, I would love to say, well, I don't have it. And she said, well, Alan Jones might have it. So here's his phone number. And I called Alan Jones. And I got it for her. She could have called Alan Jones, but she didn't.
That's great.
So that they were opposites in that way. But I was so it all just collected in my psyche all these years. And then when I sat down to write my first novel, I thought, well, I got to write what you know, right?
Yeah.
And then I took it and I spun it out as this story.
It was beautiful.
And Mikey is not me. A little bit, okay.
I was going to say, are you sure about that? Or
a little bit,
just a little bit.
The thing I got to do, which I enjoyed so much, was have Mikey meet his 13-year-old self and his parents and help them out in the story. And that's where it becomes touching. Because wouldn't we all love to go back in time and be able to tell that kid, it's going to be all right. It's going to work out. And
yeah. Absolutely right. Yeah. A lot of people do say that.
He gets to do that. And it's the seats for Hello Dolly for the father and the son. Ethel lets go of her house seat book for 5 minutes.
Well, we have a little something special we want to show here. Sort of like truth and advertising per se. It is you, Stephen, reading a little bit from the book. Here it is.
Prologue. Munching on a Foxtrot, Brooklyn, New York, August 1983. Mikey Minkus, you turn that music down this instant! And thus begins my new novel, Mary and Ethel and Mikey Who. Who is Mikey? Well, you might say that I'm Mikey. The book is really a time travel, coming of age, historical novel about the two greatest stars Broadway ever produced, Mary Martin and Ethel Merman, or as Ethel Merman liked to say, Ethel Merman and Mary Martin, and Mikey Marvin Minkus, the besotted fan who goes through Ethel's closet, winds up in 1939 in the Imperial Theatre in Sophie Tucker's dressing room, and then proceeds through time with Ethel and Mary. I mean, let me tell you a few of the things that people said about the book. Let's see. Stephen Cole has written a novel of most disarming and fantastical dream of a story. Having worked with these two great stars and admired them both immensely, I was delighted that this novel gave them life again. Did I say I loved it? I loved it. Donna McKechnie, Tony-winning star of A Chorus Line. Hope you buy the book. It's on Amazon. It's on Kindle. It is an audiobook done by Anita Gillette. And, of course, the hardcover. Come visit me, and I'll autograph it.
All right.
Perfect.
Bravo. That was a brilliant performance. I love it. I saw that and I said, we've got to show that. We've got to show that. That is cool. That is really cool. We also have an MP3, a little bit of Anita actually doing a little bit from it as well. And we can be very happy to air some of that as well. Do you know the length of that, Stephen? Do you recall?
That might be a little. That's about 3 minutes or so. So
okay, yeah.
This is from the actual audiobook, and it's from the beginning of the book. It's you.
This is the incomparable, illustrious, and effervescent Anita Gillette doing the actual. Yeah, we were all of that and more. This is a short list. When you come back, we'll say even more. Here she is. And if you need refills, you know, David is just to the left.
He's right there. Yeah. He's on the.
He's on the spot. All right. Here is Anita Gillette doing her thing.
Prologue. Munching on a Foxtrot. Brooklyn, New York, August 1983. Mikey Minkus, you turn that music down this instant. In defiance of his mother, 25-year-old Michael Marvin Minkus of Brooklyn, New York, turned his stereo up louder. Michael had not been called Michael since 4th grade, when his mother dubbed him Mikey because he was so adorable. Despite being less than adorable nowadays, the name stuck. Sometimes Mikey wished it had not. From the revolving 10-inch record, Ethel Merman munched on a foxtrot, while Mary Martin yodeled contrapuntally. Michael sang along with both singers. Picture you upon my, when I'm calling you, will you answer 2 for tea alone? Do you hear me? Screamed a voice from upstairs. Don't make me come down those stairs. He heard her. How could he not hear that piercing shriek? My bursitis is killing me, and if I burst a blood vessel and bleed all over my new house dress, I will never let you forget it. Turn that down or I'm gonna give you such a lamb in the jaw. A lamb in the jaw? This is something Mikey never understood. How could she even lift a lamb to hit him in the jaw? And where in all of Brooklyn would she even find such a farm animal? This was exactly why Mikey moved down to the half-finished basement and lived next to the washer and dryer that ran constantly to get away from her mishigas. Mikey's mother ran a clean ship, and she liked clean clothes. Thus, the constant whir of the Maytag had to be drowned out by his music. Only Ethel and Mary could make him forget he was living in a fakakta Jewish laundromat. At 25, Mikey had started to resemble his mother. Unlike his late and bald father, Morris, at the same age, or so his mother said, Mikey still had his hair and wore it a bit long. His mother straightened her hair, but Mikey kept his fulsome wave and enjoyed brushing it to the side with no part. Unfortunately, he also had his mother's Russian plowwoman build with short, solid legs and a barrel chest. Still, he was cute, a word he detested, with handsome still in the dictionary, but never used on him. Shrinking violet was never an expression for Mikey either, except when his mother was around. Mikey! Just as the dulcet tones of Mary Martin traded with the brass of Merman and sang Tea for Two while Merman caressed stormy weather, Mrs. Minkus in all her glory appeared. Rivka Minkus was a short, solid, let's face it, lumpy woman who wore her hair in a stylish for 1965, thought Mikey. This was 1983, for Lord's sake. Beehive. And since she had just come from the beauty parlor, that beehive was higher than ever and already wrapped in toilet paper in preparation for her nap. Prologue. Munching on a Foxtrot. Brooklyn, New York, August 1983.
That's it.
Mikey Minkus, you turn that music down this instant. In defiance of his mother, 25-year-old Michael Marvin Minkus of Brooklyn, New York, turned his stereo up louder. Michael had not been called Michael since 4th grade, when his mother dubbed him Mikey because he was so adorable. Despite being less than adorable nowadays, the name stuck.
It is.
Thank
you.
I love seeing Anita's reactions to her reading that.
Yes. Isn't she great?
Absolutely. 100%.
And the toilet paper on her head's my favorite.
Yeah. Who would have thunk it? You know, a lot of people are. I have to tell you, a lot of people, we have a lot of people watching live. And then again, there's many that will watch this later in the archives. And they're all saying that they're going to run out, get the book.
Yeah, good.
And they're also bringing up all kinds of incredible things about Anita. Oh, I loved her in Gypsy. I loved her in All That Glitters. I liked when she was on all the game shows. I mean, they remember everything, Anita.
Oh my goodness. Well, I loved the game shows. I really did.
Yeah.
I love doing Pyramid was my favorite one.
Oh, yes. Is that when
because you really
Clark was hosting it?
Accidental. You had to really
look. There you are.
There you are.
Oh, that's with my friend Bob.
Things
oh my God!
Things that are split.
Bananas.
A divorced couple of bananas.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
Wow, that's fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Look at this shot.
He won too. Oh, yeah.
You know what to do? We'll show some of these, and then maybe you guys can do a little of the narrative. When was this taken? Tell us about this here.
That's
Anita?
when I did Shall We Dance?
That's right. Richard Gere. Yes. Look at this one.
That movie, I lost weight, and I was so pleased with myself that I lost like 7 pounds. You know, to me, that was like, oh no, that's a different.
That's all American.
That's all American. That's my see-through nightie.
Yes, that's when you're singing Nightlife, right?
That's right. Give
Great
me some
song.
Nightlife. And that's Cabaret.
Cabaret.
Oh my goodness.
Sally Bowles.
Sally Bowles. Yeah.
Yes, there's
that's
more
me.
Nightlife in your negligee.
That's funny. You could see right through it, you know.
Really? You were nominated for a Tony.
Pocahontas.
Pocahontas.
You know, this was the thing. They were going to put me in a flesh-colored brassiere, and I said, wait a minute. I'm supposed to look like I have a flesh-colored brassiere, so they put tattoos on it. They realized that the American Algonquin Indian maidens wore many tattoos around their wrists, their ankles, so they just decided I would have tattooed tits.
But that was done in London, that show,
This was
right?
done first, yeah. It was done in London, yeah. And
Quincy, Jack Klugman.
Oh, yeah, Jackie Klugman.
Oh boy, yeah.
He was a character.
Was he
How-
still
we-
Gypsy when you did Gypsy?
Yeah, he was. I met him first in Gypsy.
That was your
Miss
first Broadway
Mitzi.
show?
Look at
Yeah.
this one here.
Miss Mitzi. Oh, I loved Miss Mitzi. She, you know, I had never done ballroom dancing before. I'm not really a good dancer. I've learned it, but I'm not knowledgeable like that. They know every step.
Yeah.
And I have, it takes me so long to learn the routines, but that, I mean, they took their time with me because it was this, you know, it wasn't like Fosse where you're,
right,
you know, all hunched over and you're in your wiggling your rear end.
Mhm.
And I
Wiggling
really
your
enjoyed
rear
it.
end.
Yeah.
It's funny how your picture froze just at that point. you were lunging forward, saying "wiggling your rear end," and then it froze.
Yeah.
we needed a pregnant pause on that one.
Right.
Well, yeah, and you got it.
We got Anita Gillette saying "wiggling your rear end." I think my career is made. You truly, Anita, I mean, you just, everything that has been thrown your way, you take it and you just turn it into gold. I want to talk a little bit about early on. What inspired you to even want to go into this industry, this extraordinary, crazy, nutty, unpredictable, phenomenal industry? Early on growing up for you, what was some of those early inspirations for you, Anita?
I went to regular Sunday school at our Prince of Peace Lutheran Church in our neighborhood. It was one of the few places because I lived in a little town called Rossville. It was only about 15 miles outside of the Baltimore, Maryland line, where you get into the county from the city. And we lived next door to a pig farm. That's where I grew up.
A pig farm.
A pig farm. And I used to go down and, I shouldn't say this, watch them mate. It was quite a sight. I was like,
Would
12.
you say that there was a lot of oink oink?
Oh, yeah. I mean, these are big fat sows, and you know. Anyway, that farm was, you know, I used to go and pick tomatoes out of the field.
Oh yeah, that's
And
fantastic.
I used to help out the farmers when I was. And the other thing was that pony. And sometimes she would let me ride the pony, and I just thought that was the greatest thing. We lived near the woods, and I would get on that pony, and I would pretend I was in a Western. And my mother stopped letting me be on the pony because I would go too fast. And she saw me woo through the woods once, and she said, "You're not getting on that pony again."
Did the pony have a name?
Brownie.
Yeah.
It was a brown pony.
Horses are very loving. They're also very healing too. They're very intuitive. They know they're very healing.
Yeah.
They are very intuitive. They know when we are not at our best.
Oh, wow.
They are very, very healing animals.
Brownie was wonderful to me.
How did growing up in that sort of warm, rural atmosphere, suburban atmosphere, how did that influence anything that you've done later on, having sort of that background?
Yeah, to get out of Russellville and get into Baltimore, because when I would get a voice lesson, I would study. Our choir mistress said, you really should study voice because you've got a good voice. That was then I was in the junior choir, and then I got into the senior choir later. But when I was in the junior choir, her name was Jeanette Lautenschlager. I'll never forget her name. Yeah. Well, it was a Lutheran church, and I had a German name, and so we all. Is Jim there?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. We're there, but we're just we're giving you the full screen.
Oh my goodness!
I'm a very, very generous host.
Yeah. Well, it was really, I really did. I liked the farm and everything, but I really wanted to be where the action was. And there was no action except riding a pony, picking the tomatoes, going to help them plant when they were doing things next door and they needed a little person to help them out. And I just loved it to go over there and do what I could, and lived in the woods. That's where my father wanted to be, out in the suburbs.
Did you see movies? Did that make you want to?
Yeah, when we could get into town, because there weren't any movies around unless you went, drove to a movie down by, not in my neighborhood, because there were no movies. There were bars, but no movies. I used to get, they used to put me on top of the bar at the Rossville Inn, and they would pay me if I sang songs up on the bar. They'd give me a big dill pickle.
Oh, okay.
And that's how I got the nickname Pickles.
Oh,
I get the nickname Pickles because I love those big. We had jars on the bar, those great big dill.
Big dill pickles, yeah. Snowstorm in the Northeast, folks. So a little bit of a
what?
What?
Come back.
You got you froze at the point when you said a great big dill pickle, and then you froze.
and then
Anita, you are so good. You freeze at the right moments. And that's for impact.
That's it. I know a joke when I.
So we got cut off at the great big dill pickle.
Oh God.
and then I asked Anita how long.
Anita, don't worry. Sister Mary Catherine isn't watching.
Thank you. Yeah.
So you were telling us Pat Carroll called you Pickles?
Pat Carroll. Yeah, I did.
Pat Carroll. Yeah, boy, loved her. You froze a little bit.
Okay, here we are.
Yeah. Pat and I worked together a couple times.
You did.
And
what did you work on together, Anita?
I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. This is where, and I haven't had that much wine. David, we did a a play. I'll think of it. I'm sorry. I can't. But we stayed friends for until she passed, and she used to call me Pickles because she loved the name, and she was one of the funniest women I'd ever met. She was amazing.
As I mentioned, there's certain points because of the craziness of the weather and everything. And we'll have you guys back. You're welcome back anytime. and we're going to continue chatting. But I love this from Maureen, who's one of our loyal, faithful Jim Master Show Lovely viewers. She goes, these at the points where Anita is saying something like the big dill pickle or the freezes might be scripted.
I know.
Actually, they're not. This is free flowing, folks. This is JMS. We are not canned. There's no canned laughter. Nothing is pre-scripted. It's all the real deal. What a cutie photo here. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
When was that, Anita?
Oh God, I was so young. Look at that. I mean, that's when I had red hair. I did my hair red, but I wasn't that old, I mean, that was in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice.
Yes. What was it like being a part of that?
It was great.
Yeah. Huh?
I loved them all. David Spielberg was my husband. Bob Urich. What could be wrong with a gorgeous guy like that?
There's David Spielberg there on the screen. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's David Spielberg.
Wow.
Yeah. Ann Archer. She was built she was gorgeous.
Well, how long was that on the air?
Not long enough. I did make some good money though. We did the pilot. When you do a pilot, they pay you a lot of money.
That's right.
Well, to me, it was a lot of money. And then and then we were guaranteed so many episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So usually the bottom line was 13 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that was the magic number in television. Yeah, 13 episodes. If you got past 13 episodes, it was magic. And then if you get past 5 years, then you go into syndication. Right. Yeah, absolutely. That's how it works for anybody watching that's not familiar. Look at this one.
Yeah.
Look at this shot.
There you are. I love
it. That's you saying back then.
Yes.
One day I'm going to be on the Jim Masters show. And Vincent said, "Oh my God, you are? How do I get on?" That is a great shot.
Isn't that a great shot?
It really is. And what a great actor he was, huh?
That's Mona and Vinny. Vinny was he was fantastic. It was we didn't even have to talk. We could, we almost like telepathy or something.
Right.
It was, I don't know.
Beautiful when that happens sometimes, when it's just an automatic like that.
Yep, that's right. And that's what we had. We had that. And it showed in that movie and all the things we did together.
It's extraordinary. It really, really is. Look at this one too with Hal Prince and company.
And Lottie Lenya.
And Lenya.
Yeah. Yes. What was happening here? Do you recall?
Well, I was taking over in Cabaret from whoever was playing it before me, Sally Bowles. I loved playing Sally Bowles, and Lenya was so happy to see me because they had been working with an understudy. Once
Jill Hayward.
Jill Howard.
Yeah.
And they were, and so I came in and I took it over from Jill, but not out until I was doing something else and unavailable then. And so they had to wait for me to get free enough to do the show. And Lenya was just a doll. She really was.
What a legend to work with. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
How fabulous. I didn't get to towards the end of the run, but I've only heard from people who saw you that you were the best.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Real musical theater mavens say that was the best sound.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, gang, Sandy Heath is watching, and she says, "I am so enjoying this, freezing and all."
I'm so sorry, Sandy.
They are strategically scripted pregnant pauses.
Yeah.
We worked all this out. That they would freeze, so you can really sort of
understand what we were talking about.
Yes, let it, like with wine, you can just let it breathe.
Or maybe it was just a joke that we were trying.
I mean, I would love to know how many people this evening watching around the world thought that they were going to hear the incomparable, legendary American treasure Anita Gillette talk about the value of a big dill pickle on the Jim Masters show. And the importance of it.
Yes. Well, we have another
Stephen, that's your line.
Yes. We have another thing in common that we didn't talk about, which is I wrote a web series for Anita called Coney Island Surprise.
That's right. Oh, yes.
Yes. And we have 3 episodes. They're short little episodes because we shot a pilot and we keep winning awards at film festivals. And all we need now is money to actually make the rest of it. But it basically, there it is. Yes.
So we go from the dill pickle.
Yes. We need a looking dead.
Yeah. So tell us, Stephen, what's happening here? And that's a very cool project.
Basically, I had written a short story, which I then, based on a true life experience that I had with an 85-year-old woman who fell down in the street on one of my tours that I give on Broadway. And she and I had to spend a day at Bellevue together. And you haven't lived until you've spent a day at Bellevue with an 85-year-old woman.
That must have been a nutty experience.
It was nutty. So I wrote the story. And then I wrote a 1-act play based on the story. And then I sent it to Anita just thinking, oh my God. And she loved it. And she sent it to some friends who were a producer and a director for film.
That's right.
And I turned it into this pilot because I said, this feels like a sitcom. This is so, and basically about a tour guide, a very young tour guide. It's not me. He's 35, and an 85-year-old woman.
I wasn't 85,
and you weren't even 85. No. You were playing older. You had to put a lot of makeup on her. And
Anita, I tell you, Anita she's on point. She's like, I love it.
And she's so and. She just doesn't take any shit from anybody. This woman, her name is Miriam, tough broad from, and so we developed it, and I've written a bunch of episodes that we haven't.
I just love playing that part.
And she was just a New York broad who says it like it is, and talks dirty, and
she falls down. She trips in the street, and then all the old broads are standing around, and there's this wonderful shot. And I'm saying, "What the hell are you looking at?" or something, and they're all bent over like this. Are you okay? I'm thinking,
it's very funny, and so now actually the next film festival we're in is in New Hope of all places,
and Pennsylvania, right? Yeah.
So if we're going to have to go there and schmooze with some people and figure out how to raise some money to do the rest of this. We shot it during the pandemic.
I know.
We were all masked until we shot. It was really a crazy time, but we had a blast.
We did.
And in fact, Clea Blackhurst plays her daughter.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of wonderful people on this. And I keep hoping we're going to do it. Yeah. That was a hoot, and the guy who played the tour guide turns out to be he starred in my musical Going Hollywood in Texas. He's a fabulous singer and actor, and that's what the one I wrote with David Crane, and it was a big hit this summer. So
good,
yeah.
Stephen, Stephen, so
I keep people around me who I love.
It's extraordinary, yes, and I hope everything comes together with that.
I hope so too.
I mentioned, we chatted with Anita as far as her early beginnings, but what about you? You are a unique individual. You're so passionate, and you are a great supporter of the arts in so many different ways. You write about it, you celebrate it, and that's what I think is so fantastic about you. What is it for you early on, if you go back in time when you were a kid? Tell us about some of your early inspirations and what spurred your interest in celebrating and wanting to be a part of the art.
Well, I'm lucky that I was a New Yorker. And that my parents would go to the theater, and they went without me too. But my mother started to take me to Saturday matinees at a time when it was affordable, when you could take a kid for $3 or $4.
Not 300.
Yeah. And I was able to babysit and take her to shows, and which was amazing. I would save up $10 for an orchestra seat, and you were able to do that. So I saw all the great shows. Was
there anybody in your family that was in the industry, or were
not
you the
at
breakout?
all?
You were
no,
the breakout.
They didn't even get it. My mother is very like the woman in the book. My mother would see a poster of Ethel Merman on my wall, and she'd say, "You don't even know her." And later on, when I did know her, I called her up and said, "I know her now."
And she said,
but she took me
go to bed.
And that was amazing. And so I saw these shows, and first I wanted to be in them. We're stuck with Charles Bush, who was then still Chuck Bush, and we're still old friends. And then when I started,
he was a guest on our show too. He's amazing.
Yeah,
he's a nice guy.
He's a great guy.
Like
And he's a little older than me. I was 14, he was 17. But nonetheless, we did these incredible shows together. 1 week summer stock. Remember that? Oh my God.
I do. Oh my
And
goodness.
we did Cabaret and Fiddler and Camelot and Do I Hear a Waltz and Plaza Suite. And he tells a very funny story, but I'll tell it. Okay. We did props. We had to do props for these shows as well as be in them. And we were doing Fiddler on the Roof in the round. And
like at the North Shore Music Theater.
It was a crappy theater in Lake Placid.
No.
And the two stars they were about to do the dream sequence, the Tevye and Golda. And it was my job to put the sheet on the bed that they had to get in. And they kept complaining.
Snowstorm.
Did we freeze at the right time there?
You froze when you talked about from Big Pickles in Baltimore to rear ends and the face.
Yeah. So now
you froze at the point when you said
actors,
you were in the bed or
them into the bed. Yeah.
At the bed. The bed.
Oh my goodness.
Wait a minute. Is there a theme here tonight?
Yes, yes, definitely is. But I didn't even remember doing that. Chuck Bush told me about that.
Did?
And I said, why isn't it in your book? He said there was no room. That's the story of my life. I'm not in people's books. When you write your memoirs, I hope I'm in there.
Yeah. Of course you would be like the leading man.
That was when we were doing the reading.
We were in a rehearsal. You're doing the reading of.
Wow, you were much too young to play her mother. You look great.
She's still
Merman's Apprentice.
Yeah.
It's him.
So tell it what in case you froze.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. What are we seeing here?
That was a rehearsal of Merman's Apprentice when we first were doing the rehearsal. Yeah. And it's Tim Jerome, the great Tim Jerome.
Yes.
He played Ethel's father only for the reading. And then he did my show after the fair. And, he goes back. He was in the original Rothschilds.
Oh, yeah.
He's a wonderful actor.
He is.
Wonderful actor.
Look at this.
Look at that.
And that's Pocahontas. Yeah.
That's not Pocahontas.
Yeah, there's the score.
Oh, that's
Pocahontas.
Pocahontas.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's you holding the score.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. No, yes.
Sending a kiss to somebody. Oh my.
Singing in cabaret.
Yeah.
That's so great, huh? Tell us about this one too. This is a cool
Yeah.
one.
Beautiful.
Cole and Arthur, right?
Huh?
Cole and Arthur.
Oh yeah, that was. We just did a thing at the Players Club where Clea interviewed me,
That's right.
and we did this whole, and he made this all happen at the Players
At
Club.
the Players
Yeah, we had a wonderful time that evening.
did.
We all came out of there and got COVID.
Well, you know what I say? They used to say that BC meant before Christ.
Right.
Now it means before COVID.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now all you have to
I
do is
get
go in a room and hug some people, and you go home and get sick. It's
right.
terrible.
How did I'll ask you guys individually, because we've had some guests who've come through and some have struggled during it, and they've used our show as a way to just sort of regenerate, you know, because it's a warm, fun, free-flowing conversation on our show. We don't call this an interview show. It's more conversational, like Carson and Cavett is pretty much how I designed this series, because there's a lot of interview shows, question, answer, out, by, tell us about the book, the CD, done. I am somebody who likes to get into the feeling, the why. And in this case, for you, like Anita, what we've gone through in the last couple of years, how have you experienced that? How has that, how have you survived through that? What perspective about life have you gained through what you've witnessed the last couple of years?
That takes
Actually, all you had to do is and that alone is a book.
To explain it, you really have to think about what you're going to say, because it's a very complicated question. The answer would be, because there are a lot of things you have to do to stay sane these days. And this thing going around, you know, it's really frightening, Jim. It is. It's very frightening.
Totally. It changes our perspective about a lot of things.
Yeah.
I was lucky in many ways. I was, you know, we were isolated completely, and I wrote a different novel. I wrote a novel during that whole time. I just kept working.
That's
But
what I
it
did. I
was-
launched this series,
Yeah.
you know, during
And I
this.
did anything I could, like be on your series. I remember, you know, that was the last time we did this was in 2020. And the novel
I got to
wrote,
tell you, Stephen, you're one of the good guys. You really are a good-hearted, good egg. You were so excited to be on our show, and I want to tell this to the viewers. He was so excited to be on our show, and he's been so supportive of our show. And you have done everything you can to like spread the word and celebrate, you know, what we're doing. Something I created during the pandemic, which is something that I didn't necessarily have to do, but felt I wanted to do. And you've been so supportive and right there, you know, by our side. And I really, really appreciate that. And then when you and I were chatting, because you were coming on the show, and then you had mentioned, would you like to have Anita Gillette on?
Did you really?
Wait, how did Fred Sanford do it? Martha, I'm coming up to see you.
Right. But when we
said,
first did it,
I said, yes, comma, yes.
when we first did it, Jim, you may not recall, but my dear friend, who's also gone now, Ralph Lampkin, who
Oh my God.
he called me.
Do you know
up.
how many people he sent our way?
Oh, he was
He
incredible.
was such a supporter of our
Such
show.
a-
And he
such a
came up
supporter
to this
of-
area,
Yep.
and I'll have to show you pictures. We had ice cream at a local ice cream shop.
Oh
I
yeah.
probably told you about it. And well, for folks who are watching, you may remember.
And he did our press on do the press. He was so
he
great.
passed away
But as far
suddenly
as
last year of a
with
heart
you,
attack.
Jim, he called me up that day.
He was the one that
And
put us
it was,
together.
it was like somebody dropped out, and he said, "Can you do it?" And I said, "Yes." And I just showed up. I just showed up on. I looked a lot better than this picture there.
Oh, you look cute.
But
Oh, that's a cool sweater you're wearing.
yeah, isn't it a great sweater? I love the sweater.
Yeah.
And
Are you
we need
too
to look.
hot?
No,
You're
I'm
not?
fine. So, but it was, I remember doing that.
Anita's taking
Are
care of
too
you.
hot?
She's dusting you off.
I'm fine. So, but it was such a wonderful thing to do at the last minute, and of course, I was thrilled to do it because it was 2020. We were happy to do anything to get it out, to get entertainment out there, talk out there, and that's the name of my novel, by the way.
The only
Because
problem
it's
is when
not
you heard
published.
2020, you thought you were going on 2020 on ABC.
Yeah, right.
With Barbara Walters and Hugh
No.
Downs.
It was really 2020. Though.
No.
You know, it was, and I don't know why. When I started the series, it was just me talking to camera, talking to the viewers, and then people I had interviewed on PBS and elsewhere over the years, they wanted to come on the show, so I said, "Sure, let's come on the show," and it's just blossomed from there, and we've been still doing it.
That's great.
All these almost 2,000 episodes later. The juggle is balancing it with the day-to-day work in television and radio, but
Right.
you know, it's really extraordinary. I believe in things. I like to go deep, and I like to feel, and I like the why of life. And the two of you are very much people like that. You aren't just cut and dry. Okay, let's check in, check out. You do what you do because you have a real thirst for connecting with and touching the lives of others, right, Anita?
Right. That's right.
Very much.
Oh yeah. I've learned a lot from Stephen and vice versa, I believe. We don't see each other all the time, but whenever we do see each other, it's like instant. Just it's never any time has passed.
That's how I feel too. Yeah.
Just
And whenever I come up with an idea, I think, what can Anita do in this? Because she's like a muse. I know if I write something funny, you will be funny. If I write something
So
not
Steve,
funny, you won't be.
Before you had an opportunity to connect with the incomparable Anita Gillette, I would imagine you always admired her work, her tenacity, her passion, her enthusiasm, and all the projects she was involved in. And then when you had an opportunity to meet her and then start working with her, you must have been like, wait a minute, I'm working with Anita Gillette?
I knew it right away.
We become like kids again, right?
I just knew you were going to deliver exactly what I wanted you to deliver, which is not every actor. You have to know that. I worked the first actor I ever worked with was Hal Linden. I wrote a show called Dodsworth, and Hal starred.
Barney Miller.
And Hal was not easy to work with.
No.
He was difficult. He was prickly. It was and he questioned every line and every lyric. And in some ways,
is he a perfectionist?
Yes, but in some ways he made me better. And it was my first show, but it was not easy. We called up Jerry Bach, who had written Fiddler on the Roof and the Rothschilds, and we said, "What can you tell us about Hal?"
Oh,
and
boy.
Jerry said, "What do you want to know? He's a pain in the ass." And he was, but he also was brilliant in the show. And everything that he did to make me a little crazy, he did worse to the director by fire, which was a great thing in a way. And then I got to work with Chita Rivera, who was the complete opposite.
Oh my God.
She was such a darling. We just lost her recently. And
tell us about
so
I don't know if you got cut off at all, but tell us about the working with Chita Rivera.
Working with Chita was like a dream. She was the opposite of Hal because she would try anything. She worked harder than anyone in the room.
That's right.
There were all these young kids in Casper. This was Casper the musical, and we were rehearsing in Pittsburgh. And they would take 10, and the kids would go off and just do something, and Chita would go in the corner and learn her lines. Mm-hmm. And I remember telling the kid who played Casper, "Watch her. That's how it works. Yeah. You have to do work all the time." And when I wrote new songs for Chita during rehearsal, she said, I'll rehearse all night. Who cares? Screw the unions. I don't care. I'm going to make it work. She was, when the show opened, we still did rewrite.
Did you really?
Toward the summer, and she was fabulous. And from then I still knew her up until the end. And I wrote special material for her club act, and David Crane and I were trying to write a show that would star Chita and Dick Van Dyke. Oh, and she was so excited because he was already well in his 80s. And we wrote one song for it. She flew us out to California. She drove us to his house at Malibu.
Oh my!
And I got to sing to Dick. And I sang.
Wait.
It was an incredible
All right.
day.
This is when you need to freeze again. You got to wait. I got to
sing for Dick Van Dyke with David Crane playing. We both play. I played Chita and he played Dick.
Oh my goodness.
And in the song, Chita had told me what she thought of herself and Dick Van Dyke. She said, "We're like tequila and milk." And so I had to put that into the song. And I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "Well, tequila is hot and spicy." And I said, "What about milk?" And she said, "White."
yeah, like vanilla.
And so we put that in the song.
Sounds like Chita.
And the song was great. It's called "Where Have You Been?" For 50 years they hadn't been together. And Dick, the only reason it never happened was he told us that day. He said, "I can't memorize anymore." He said, "I could improvise, but I can't memorize." And Chita was a stickler for memorization. She did. Sure. And so we never did that show. And but what a day it was in LA and Malibu. Wow. And I got to meet
I was
amazing.
This close, not on this show, but on PBS, to interviewing Dick Van Dyke. People say to me, of all the people you've met, and of course, Stephen, you're a dear friend, and now having an opportunity to be in the presence of Anita Gillette is like, it's going to be an all-nighter. I'm going to have insomnia tonight. There have been some people say to me, you've interviewed 7,000 people in your many years on television and radio, and then this show. Who are some of the people that you've met who are talented, phenomenal professionals, but who are also the real deal? I will include Anita. Stephen, you already are, but I will include Anita in that list now. The others, Carol Burnett. Oh. Carol Burnett is, as we know, as real as she was on camera, as she is off air. No airs about her, no ego about her. She's just genuine. Judy Collins, I interviewed her during her 50 years of music. She did a special on PBS at the Museum of Natural History. It was absolutely incredible, and she was golden. Florence Henderson, another gem of a person who wrote back to every person who ever wrote to her. As a fan, she actually wrote back to them all. Could you imagine that? There's been a few people over the year. Regis Philbin, who is a friend, another. He was a New Yorker. He wore his heart on his sleeve. He was approachable. He was real, super talented, but just such a nice guy. And every once in a while, you come across people who, when you meet them, whether it's professionally or you're just a fan of their work or whatever it is, and they meet or exceed the expectations of what you had hoped, it's a golden moment. And, that's not something that always happens.
This is true.
Right, exactly. And
No, it's very
you mentioned Chita.
Oh,
Boom.
yep. Boom.
Yeah. This was at the Lyceum Theater. It was an after party when she starred in, I don't know if you got a chance to see it, when she was in The Visit.
Oh, yes. Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh,
She was something else, huh?
Absolutely.
I tell you. Let's get back. Let's talk about the book.
Yeah, no, she was.
You know, so people don't realize as well, right, Stephen, as you freeze, Mary Martin, Peter Pan, but also the mother, for those TV aficionados, the mother to Larry Hagman, Major Nelson on I Dream of Jeannie, but also JR on Dallas. And we just had Linda Gray on our show recently. Tell us about, I know we're emphasizing a lot of Ethel Merman.
Yeah, let's talk
Mary
about
Martin.
Mary. So Mary, I was lucky enough to write a musical called Inventing Mary Martin, which played at the York Theatre off Broadway. It was for her 100th anniversary. And the most extraordinary, it was a great show. I directed it as well, but more extraordinary than the show was the fact that her children, although Larry was gone by then, so her daughter Heller and her grandchildren and her great-grandchildren and her great-grandchildren all came to see the show. South Pacific, Peter Pan, amazing. And so meeting Heller, her daughter Heller, and meeting Larry's two children, Larry Hagman's two children, her grandchildren, was a dream as well, because they were so happy to have us celebrate Mary. And because, Ethel seems simpler to celebrate, but Mary was subtle and interesting and introduced some of the greatest songs in musical theater. And she was a kind of ephemeral magic that you'll never get again. Yeah. That kind of, because she was a stage star. She made 13 movies. Most people have never seen her movies, but she didn't register as well in films. So it was wonderful to know her even a little bit. She was funny, but she wasn't as funny.
Right, exactly.
As Ethel.
Look at this photo here, gang. That was that night, right?
Yes, that was when the CD came out. We did it again at Berlin. And that little girl there is Elizabeth Teeter. Yes. And now she is like 22. Oh my goodness. And she starred in Beetlejuice on Broadway.
Oh.
Wow.
When she auditioned for me, we had a bunch of little girls come in to play this,
and Ron
Huseman. Look at all the blue eyes of everybody. But Elizabeth Teeter is brilliant. Me and Clea, that's recently. That was at Sardi's for the book launch.
Yeah. And those of you who loved 30 Rock, hey, look at this.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
you played Tina Fey's mom on that show.
Goodness.
What was that like for you, Anita?
That was great. That was one of the best things I ever did. They were all just so nice to me. And Tina we would sit at the table, for the table read. And the NBC people were around, the eyes were around. And there would be a joke. Hello?
Yep.
Yes.
There would be a joke. And
hello.
NBC object to it.
Right.
And Tina Fey would say,
Tina Fey.
Hey, I'll find you another.
Right.
And if they did edit it, she said, I'll put it back in. She was amazing, Tina Fey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because you have to be a politician at the same time.
That's right.
It's amazing.
Yes.
It's scary.
It is.
Oh my God, there I am with the big picture. How many bounties do I have in my kitchen? That photo,
the quicker picker upper
of Gypsy. They had that photo.
Bounty.
Somebody saved that from backstage.
That's
at
incredible.
The Imperial.
Oh.
And I had it, and I gave it away after I moved somewhere else. But
Did you
that's-
really?
I used to say that was one of her wallet-sized pictures.
I did 5 shows at the Imperial.
Wow.
I knew that. I knew every light in the ceiling. there.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Yes, there I am hiding behind a book. We could do it again. We could recreate that
Yeah.
picture. Yes.
There it is, right there.
Yeah.
So, oh,
Finish here.
yes.
Audible.
So that's Anita's book. So everybody needs to go and buy. Audible
It's your
is
book.
it-
I
it's
just
yes,
read it.
but it's brilliantly done. And your Audible has all these great deals. If you join Audible, they give you this book.
yeah.
They give you the audiobook.
Oh, look
That
at
was
it.
Anita recording the book in the studio.
That's
yes.
me. Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Oh boy.
Stephen,
Yes.
we've been talking, about so many different things. How would you describe your feelings about the iconic Anita Gillette?
Uh-oh.
I know she's in the room right there, right?
All right. Yes. I adore
Just,
Anita.
and a little bit
Like
of
I say,
just to let everybody know, the following that he's going to say is not scripted.
Right. Not scripted at all.
No.
But I do call her Amuse. And she amuses me. And she's amused because when I'm writing, and if it, yeah,
I can
but
hear
it's
your
true.
voice.
I hear your voice. I know she knows comedy, and that's
Yeah.
not every actor, who knows comedy. And I like to write comedy,
Yeah.
but also I like to write real people. And you're a real
I'm a
person.
real person.
You're a real person, a real actor. And I feel honored after all of this.
It is
Yes.
I who am honored. M is honored when you write things for me, Steve.
Well, I will
Really.
continue to do that. So yeah, we belong to a mutual admiration society, as
My
Ethel
baby
sang.
and me.
Yes, Ethel sang that in Happy Hunting.
That's right.
And we've sung together too.
We have.
That's the other part. We've done shows out on Long Island
Oh my goodness.
in the middle of nowhere. And
Okay.
we've sung
Now
Jelly
that
Belly
you
together.
said that, with all the freezing and otherwise, this is ad hoc. This is ad lib. Unscripted, free flowing.
What?
Sing something
Yes.
together for us now.
Sing, oh my God!
I
What would
knew
we
he
sing?
was going to
I
say that
know,
as soon
I
as
But,
know.
but if you
Oh,
want,
yes.
but if you need,
But I don't even know.
wait.
what we're doing
No.
together.
If you need Anita and David, if David needs Anita and Stephen, if David needs to come in and do a refill so you can
Oh
sing.
no!
David, did
No
you hear
more,
that?
no more.
I-
booze.
David, did you hear that? And he just like stat, scalpel stat. What would you sing? Just anything. You set it up, Stephen. You said you sang together, so everybody's going to be like,
Well,
"Oh,
we
well, we
sang
have to
You
hear
Are
them
Alive.
sing." So the extraordinary Anita Gillette and Stephen Cole.
Yeah,
I don't
from
know
the
the
Grand
word.
Tour. I don't know the terrible key. You I like, so let me make it clear.
I don't know.
I
the
don't
words
know.
to this.
We did it though. It was, and we.
You
and
know,
we
you
pulled
could
it
pick
around the
Jingle Bells
stage.
or Happy Birthday if that's easier.
Yeah, no. Whose birthday is it?
Is it yours, Jim?
No, mine was in September.
Yeah.
Yours, Anita, is
And
what
it's
month?
September.
How about you, Anita?
August.
And I'm November.
So we're not
Scorpio.
close.
No, we're not even close.
I'm a Leo.
Next time we'll do something where
Yeah.
we get an accompanist.
I got a
I'm
piano.
singing the right key. I sound
Yeah.
like Chita Rivera today. It's very, very hard for us to find the right key.
Well,
So, yeah, so we'll sing next time. It'll bring people back.
Yeah.
Or it won't. They'll be scared.
So I'm going to ask each of you this question
Okay.
individually. Anita,
yes.
how would you describe your friendship with Stephen Cole? And then Stephen, after Anita finishes hers, how would you describe your friendship with the incomparable Anita Gillette.
Okay, hit it, Anita.
Yeah. Well, you keep using words about me like iconic and incomparable and things like that. And
I would say
just-
effervescent needs to be edited as well.
effervescent, maybe a little over the top, I would say sometimes I am, I just, first of all, what you get from when you're auditioning, which is how I met Stevie, their words, and those words were written by somebody. And so when you associate as an actor and you get into that character, you also have to get into the mind of the writer or somewhere where he created all of this. And if you can connect with that and the words and make it come out of your mouth in a real way, that's the only way I would want to do it, is when it comes from me, but through you. And that has always been such an easy trip for me with you.
Oh, God.
Because you've always made me know what you were thinking when you wrote that, where you are and what you mean and how you mean me to do it. It just was a path that was easy to follow and beautiful to read.
Thank you. And I have to say, though, Anita asks questions.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And she wants to know what you think. Why did you write that? She used to call me up when we were doing the Coney Island thing. Why does she say this? And I had to figure it out, because sometimes I don't even know. When you're a writer, sometimes it flows out of you, and then it takes an actor to question it. And then you find out more about why you wrote it. You may make a change, you may fix it, you may make it better, but I have to come up with why. Why did I even put those words down?
It's also the accessibility that you give this actor, anyway, that I can call you up and say, listen, I can't get it. And you respond. There are some writers who would just
Right. Well, you know what? It all does go back to that Hal Linden all those years ago. Death by fire, as I say. He questioned every comma. But also, there were many times he was right. And I changed lines and I made it better. I think that's what I love to do with actors. And when actors are as good as you, but you were asking about the friendship. I just like her. I just like her. And I feel honored to be with somebody who has, I like asking her questions. What was it like to work with Ray Bolger? I asked her recently.
Oh my God.
And she said, it was horrible. And
was it really? Was it really? Yeah.
Well,
it was a tough thing.
When his wife would come and sit in the audience for every rehearsal.
This was All American.
This is All American. And Ray Bolger could really, he wanted to do Once in Love with Amy all over again. That's it. That's all he wanted to do. He wanted to get down stage on the apron and talk to the audience and get them on it once. Hello, when I am that was not in the show.
Right.
But he had a wonderful song that he could do sort of something like that, but it stuck to the script. And he was very, and we would rehearse all day. His wife would be in the audience in the back. And then we would come to the theater the next day to start another rehearsal. And he would come in with a million notes that he had gotten from his wife.
Right.
And Josh was like, he was big then, physically. And he had I don't know who does the change in their pocket. Queeg? Is it
yes,
Queeg?
yes.
And he would be walking up.
Fred Birch did it also on I Love Lucy.
Oh my God. But he would walk in front of the pit, up and down, while the cast was sitting there waiting for their turn to go and do their scenes or whatever. and Josh would be jiggling the change in his pocket, and we would all be sitting there and thinking, "What the hell? What are we doing here?" And Ray Bolger's wife had given him a stack of notes. And by the time we got through them, we didn't have time for, it's time for lunch already.
It couldn't have been easy.
Oh, it was
Could not have been easy.
It really wasn't.
No.
Time for craft services.
Yes.
And an antacid and an aspirin.
So this all.
So
her
Ray
stories-
Bolger himself was okay, but
he was okay, but
he
when he had
added,
to listen to his wife, he wasn't.
familial relatives that were associated were problematic to a degree.
This
Right.
this has happened with other stars that I've worked with too.
Oh
The
my
wife is
God!
in the
Yes,
background. Yeah. Hal had a wife too.
Oh, really?
Hal had a wife. Gavin MacLeod, who was one of the sweetest,
yeah.
most wonderful
Wasn't
men
he?
I worked with.
And then there was Patty.
And then he had a wife, yes, and that was difficult. And when we did Gross Singers, Ruta Lee starred as Jenny Grossinger.
Oh my
Gavin
God!
MacLeod,
Ruta Lee has been a guest on our show
Yes.
3 times.
she was a hoot, and
And
Gavin-
Anita,
they-
you would
they were
appreciate
the
this.
two.
Anita, do you remember when I did the intro to you and Steven and I was talking about your careers and your backgrounds? Anita, Ruta was just on the show maybe about 3 weeks ago.
Oh.
And she said, after I did the whole build up to her illustrious career and all the
Yes.
things that she did, she popped on and she goes, "You know what? That was the best damn obituary I've ever had. And when that time comes, I want you to be the one that reads it."
Oh,
That's
my
funny.
God.
That's funny.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
well, when I worked with Ruta and Gavin, it was a very Jewish show, Gross Singers, about the Catskills,
Yeah.
and neither of them was remotely Jewish.
no.
The
But
Borscht
Gavin-
Belt. Buddy
but
Hackett.
Gavin knew how to do whatever he had to do. He was so they told me at the time, you will have to write a role for Patty, for his wife. And I said, well, what can
boy.
she do? And they said, she can tap dance. And I said, well, I don't have any tap dancing little old ladies in the show. It turned out she was not in the show. But
Was that a normal thing? Did she have to be a part of a lot of what he did?
she wanted to be around. And so
Are you
luckily,
telling me at the very final episode? I was on a television shoot a week ago, and we flew from Seattle back to the East Coast, and I saw this incredible HBO special called "Being Mary Tyler Moore,"
Oh,
and
yeah,
what
that was
Mary
great.
Tyler Moore's life was really like away from just the screen. And it was one of those things where just what you just said just reminded me of how, the feeling like you have to be involved in every aspect of the other person's life. And sometimes that's not exactly healthy.
Right. Well, a lot of Hollywood wives who have star husbands, there's a little jealousy there, a little
Of
jealousy,
course. Yeah.
and I can understand it. But as I said, he's high on my list of one of the greatest people I ever worked with.
I just want to let you know.
Gavin was so sweet. When Gavin went to the director's wife,
and Anita was on the Love Boat.
yes. And when Gavin went to the director's wife when we were doing the show and said, I love Steven so much. What can I do for him? And the director's wife said, buy him clothes.
Oh my God.
So he took me shopping. And by the end of this shopping spree in Dallas, I looked like Gavin MacLeod. I wore the same clothes as him.
thing.
Not bad.
Yeah.
No, he couldn't
He
have been
was a sweet
sweeter.
guy.
Do you still have the clothes in the closet?
No, I don't have any of those Gavin MacLeod clothes, unfortunately.
I hate my
That is so funny.
sorry.
So where were we? I
Where were we? I just want to let people know, if they're just tuning in from anywhere around the world, that as far as Stephen Cole, this is not his first rodeo. You have penned multiple books. Tell us about that.
Oh, just quickly, let's see. The first book I wrote was about an old coward. The second book was called That Book About That Girl, about Marlo Thomas's fabled TV show, which she actually was. It was called an unauthorized version, but it was authorized.
So I'm assuming you know Doug Denoff. He's a dear friend.
Yes, of course. I interviewed his father for the show because his father was one of the
Sam
creators.
Denoff, Dick Van Dyke Show,
and Bill Persky. And I've written special material for Marlo over the years, and she's been lovely to me always.
Good.
And then I wrote.
I knew her boyfriend Ted.
And married to Marlo Thomas, married to Phil Donahue.
Phil Donahue, absolutely.
And they live in Southport, Connecticut. Fairfield County.
Penthouse on Fifth Avenue. Yeah, I know. So anyway, and then the other books were about Marnie Nixon. Marnie and I wrote I Could Have Sung All Night Together.
Wow.
And so that was the best ghost job I ever had, because I ghosted the ghost. And then I also ghosted Charles Strauss's book.
Oh,
I get no credit for that one. Nothing. I just took the money and ran. It was fine. It was fine.
Hey, gang, I want to let you know that Sandy Heath has shared. A lot of the viewers have been commenting.
Yes.
We've been sprinkling those comments on the screen. Sandy Heath was supposed to be at choir tonight. This was way better, she said.
Oh, good.
Choir. And Mary Ann Lapinto, who's a big,
Mary Ann.
She's a big fan of our show and our series. She says, Anita is really a longtime friend, and I'm so lucky to have her in my life.
And what about me, Mary Ann? You don't like me?
Yeah, you got
I know Mary Ann.
She knows everybody.
She knows everybody, but I know she loves you. Oh yeah.
You know each other for so long.
Anita, was there anybody that you wish you had an opportunity to act with, past or present?
There are plenty of people. It's just my brain has to think of who they were. I mean, I would have loved to have worked with Natalie Wood. I just loved her work. I really did.
Fabulous.
And I just her whole life, it affected me. That journey that she's too short. But I loved her work. I thought she was great. And Maureen
Stapleton.
Oh God, yeah.
Maureen Stapleton, I just loved, and we worked together, and I just learned anything I could from her. Everything. Anytime she had something to say, I would just be. You have to. Be open to that. I know, I'm telling you.
That's great.
A lot of people like that. Yeah. Anyway, I think I have to put my husband to bed.
You have to put your husband to bed?
Yes.
Is he looking at his watch going,
Yes, it's time. It's
no,
time.
I just said I think I have to put my husband to bed anyway.
He said, yes, please. I just want to show a couple more quick photos here before we go. Look at these cool shots. Look at this one with Clea.
That was at the Players Club. Yes, we had a good time there.
There was one time I was coming from another event that I was emceeing in the city, and we walk into the Brooklyn Diner, which was in Manhattan, and there's Clea. Look at this shot.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You guys are amazing, really, truly.
Well, thank you. So you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and that was
It's number one. It was a pleasure to have you, Stephen, back on the show. You're a good egg. You're one of the good guys. And it was an honor and a deep pleasure to have the opportunity to grace the presence of Anita Gillette.
Thank you.
And you are both welcome back. And what I say on the show all the time, and the viewers will tell you, I say we keep the porch light on for you. So you're welcome back. And then I hope the show met whatever expectations you had and you enjoyed the time with me as much as I absolutely have with you. What we're doing here as an extension of my work in broadcast all these years is something different. It's warm, it's inviting, it's got levity, it's, Carson Cabot style, bringing back the lost art of conversation, finding out the why a little bit deeper than the norm, and to have the two of you together this evening, through snowstorms and all, day made.
Well, I never
Okay.
want to do another interview without you.
I agree.
Mwah.
She
Thank
did
you,
that just
Jim.
like Dinah Shore did.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
See you in the
Thanks so much,
USA
Jim.
in a Chevrolet.
Yes. We're so glad we had this time
Time
together.
Just to have a laugh and sing a song. You guys truly are tremendous, and I hope we do meet in the city for dinner.
Yes,
Stephen,
of course.
We'll work on that together with
Okay.
Miss Anita. And
Thank you very
it was an
much.
honor and a privilege and a pleasure. There's Stephen's website there as well. It was
Yes.
an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure to have you both grace us with your wit and wisdom, your joy and your blessing here on the show. I just want to show you, we've been sprinkling these in throughout the evening. Maureen in Arizona says, thank you both for being Jim's special guest this evening. You're both amazing humans. God bless. Kathleen in New York City says, this has been such fun. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
And Mary Ann says, Anita is really a longtime friend, and I'm so lucky to have her in my life.
Again, Marianne.
I tell you,
I know.
we call that double levity here on the show.
Yeah.
Anita Gillette, Stephen Cole, congratulations on everything. Congratulations, of course, on the book, Stephen. I know you're a prolific writer, and this is one of many, but this is one that's near and dear to your heart. Mary and Ethel and
Mikey Who.
a novel by Stephen Cole. And again,
Getting good
Amazon,
reviews.
everywhere else. You can get it on Amazon, all the rest. And
And I'm having
Look
a
at these
shout
two
out
together,
to
huh?
David Bates, my husband.
Yes, thank you, David,
yes,
You,
for
David.
serving us wine.
Thank
he also vacuumed the rugs. He
Yes.
dusted,
He calls
and he
it
repainted
hoovering.
the walls, and
He
he
says,
bought the
"I have to
chairs that you're
hoover."
in.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Bye, Jim. Thank you.
What would be one thing you would say about our experience this evening on the show that you want to leave our viewers with?
We have
And of course, you froze at that.
blast.
You
We just
froze
had
at that
fun.
moment.
And once that's all.
And even my husband had a blast.
He looks happy. You want to say hello?
hello.
He doesn't want
Or
to say.
goodbye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, then.
Thanks,
Stephen,
Jim.
thank
so
you
much.
very much. Anita,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much. Let's stay in touch. And
Okay.
truly, a blessing to have you both on the show.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate it.
And now the final freeze. Mwah. Bye.
Take care, gang. Bye-bye now.
Yeah, you too.
You too. Fabulous friends, dear friends, Anita Gillette and Stephen Cole on the Jim Master Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Celebrity Talk Show series. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We had a blast. This was a lot of fun. You know, it was ad lib, it was free flowing. We went in a lot of different directions. I know you guys like to see, a lot of times you like to see the empty chairs. All right, here you go.
Now it's fun.
There's the empty chairs.
You go first.
Okay.
You go first. There are the empty chairs. I know you like to see the chairs that our guests sat in, right? There you go. There's the chairs that they sat in. We could do so many episodes of our series where we have images of just the empty chairs of the guests, because the guests have to go grab the Oscar, the Emmy, the Grammy. Maybe the child comes running in and takes the headphones off them, whatever it is. It's amazing. Gang, we have survived a snowstorm here in the Northeast, and it was terrific. I want to take a look at some of the comments. Feel free to post. Now, do us a favor. Here it is. Ready? Click the like button. The like button. We're working in a world that is unique. I come from a television, radio stage, film background, but we are now working in the world of the internet. So the internet requires likes, shares, and subscribes. It does. So if you love what we're doing here at the Jim Master Show Live series, Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series, Celebrity Talk Show series, and you would like to see more of it right here on the Jim Master Show Live, here's something you could do right here. Like, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, which costs nothing. Just hit the word subscribe that's on the YouTube channel and leave a comment. Even if you commented in the chat room, leave a comment on the YouTube channel. That came back quicker than I thought. Leave a comment on the YouTube channel. Why? Because it really helps us grow. The amount of subscribers we've had and comments and love that we've received recently has been extraordinary. And we thank you so very much for watching. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe and share, as we say. You know, we mentioned Dick Van Dyke recently when we were chatting with our illustrious guests. Take a look at this from Anne Margaret.
What was it like, since it's the week they're celebrating him, what was it like working with Dick Van Dyke?
Well, I mean, he's such a talented gentleman. He has always been,
Yeah,
you know, just top gun.
yeah.
I'm so happy for him. And
98.
he's a very healthy man.
98, I tell you, he's dancing and he's exercising. He goes to the gym 3 days a week. It's extraordinary. And that was a wonderful performance in, Bye Bye Birdie. You were extraordinary in that.
Hey, gang, tomorrow, look who's with us on the Jim Master Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Celebrity Talk Show series. Pat Boone. The legendary Pat Boone is with us. We also have, as we celebrate the 20th anniversary of Celtic Woman, we have special guests coming in from Celtic Woman. If you have not seen this, it's coming up this Friday. Carolyn Hennessy from General Hospital, which is celebrating 60 years, and Anson Williams from Happy Days, which is celebrating 50 years. They are joining us this Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, live, because they have come together to create a wonderful play called Crazy Mama. Anson's the director, and Carolyn is the performer. The incomparable Carolyn Hennessy, Anson Williams, joining us this Friday. Also, if you have not seen the episode that we did with iconic Anne Margaret, Linda Gray, who you remember from Dallas, Sharon Gless, Cagney and Lacey, Dick Van Dyke celebrating his 98th birthday with Larry Matthews, who was, of course, Richie Petrie, his son, on the show, and so much more. Ryan Cassidy, son of Shirley Jones, Jack Cassidy, brother to David Cassidy and Sean Cassidy. Yeah, he was with us recently. And also, Adrian Zmed. You remember this phenomenal actor from T.J. Hooker with William Shatner and so much more. These are just some of the folks who have stopped by the Jim Masters Show Live series. Gang, we thank you so very much for your love and support of what we do here at the show. We always have a good time. We say thank you. We can never say thank you enough. Tonight was a fun evening. You know, they are in New York. We're here in the New York area. There's been a snowstorm. We appreciate all of you being with us here on the Jim Master Show Live. And again, don't miss it, because tomorrow, Pat Boone is with us. Can't wait. It's going to be amazing. All right, let's take a look at some of the comments that are happening here on the show. We get so many incredible comments. Pam says, thank you, everybody. Thank you. We appreciate that as well. From Pam, watching in Maryland, just outside D.C. Let's take a look at some more comments that are coming in. I tell you, it's been a very busy day. I was on the air. I did 5 radio shows. We did a TV shoot. We survived the snowstorm, and we're here with all of you. Let's take a look at some more comments. Kathleen Walker in New York City. Great show. Thank you, Jim, for all you do for us. The pleasure is all mine. Ms. Pat in Texas says, you have the 3rd shift or the 4th shift, right? I'm off to work. Keeping fingers crossed. You are only a month or 2 from retirement? Well, that means you have more time for JMS. You work every night for 24 years. God bless you for keeping the wheels turning here in America. Ms. Pat in Texas. We love you. You were having some internet issues. Yeah, because, there was a big major snowstorm in the Northeast. However, this will be archived on our YouTube channel so you can see it again. Thank you very much, Kathleen. One of our biggest supporters, and she's also a personal dear friend. Kathleen Walker and I were on the Rachel Ray Show. Yes. All right, gang. Thanks for being with us. We're going to dial off here. Got a busy, busy day tomorrow. We're getting ready for Pat Boone tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. For those of you watching live, he's an American treasure. Yeah. We'll show that again, right? Psh, boom. Just excited about it. I've been working so hard behind the scenes, host, produce, executive produce, all the things we do to put this unique show together. And it's a lot of work. I know it looks easy, but we like to put on a good show that's of quality and get the best guests for you as well. And not where I'm reading anything, not where it's scripted, where it's all free-flowing. Don't need this because I don't need to hear the guests anymore. Where it's free-flowing and it's all ad-lib. The whole thing is ad-lib, which is amazing. All right, gang, we are going to trail off. It's been a fantastic evening with you and with Stephen Cole and Anita Gillette. The book, let's show it again. Well, there's, of course, Clea and Reva. Here's the book, Mary and Ethel and Mikey Who, a novel by Stephen Cole, right here with the incomparable duo Anita Gillette and Stephen Cole right here in a non-scripted, unscripted, free-flowing, real, authentic, inspiring, fun as heck episode of JMS. And of course, we do say prayers to the friends and family of the wonderful Chita Rivera. We lost her just 2 weeks ago. And I had an opportunity to meet her on a number of occasions. This one was the evening of The Visit, which she was starring in on Broadway in New York at the Lyceum Theater. She was a gem. Chita Rivera, God bless. Stephen Cole, Anita Gillette, here on the Jim Masters Show. You guys are the best. All right, let's take a look here. A couple more comments before I have dinner. Do you realize it is after like 9 o'clock at night and I have not had dinner yet because we've been so busy putting these shows together for all of you. So true. Indeed, Jim, it's my job. You do night driving for deliveries. God bless you. Miss Pat in Texas, you're the best. And Maureen says, be safe, Pat. Maureen in Arizona says, whoa. Pat, that's a long run, 24 years, right? Retirement. You're going to enjoy that. I'm not there yet. However, I can't wait till that happens. You spend more time with family and friends, right? Maureen is the person who's retired like twice over. She was supposed to have retired from a world of medical and nursing, and she has not retired yet because she loves what she does. She loves what she does. Kathleen, we were long overdue for dinner. Good to have you with us as well, and thank you for the hearts. All right. I've been up for 24 hours. Does it seem like it? Yeah. I'm ready for dinner, and I'm ready for a good sleep. Getting through this snowstorm here on the Jim Masters Show. All right. Stephen Cole, Anita Gillette, thank you so much. And thanks to all of you for watching the Jim Masters Show Live, Entertainment Lifestyle Celebrity Talk Show Series. Ooh, can't wait to have dinner. We are flying high, and I want dinner. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment right here on the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. We love you all. Thanks for being with us. This was a lot of fun. We always have a good time here at JMS. We'll see you soon right here on the show. Pat Boone is with us tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Love you all. Take care and be well. This show's Jim Masters, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, don't forget, be good to one another, take care of one another, and love one another because we love you. Be well. Thanks for stopping by, JMS. Cheers.